the 2018 Northeastern PA Maple Syrup Tour. This self-guided tour was quite sweet as we followed the maple syrup production process from tree to table. On this adventure, we covered quite a large area of Wayne County looking for the maple open house signs. Our first stop was in Sterling Township for a Saturday morning pancake breakfast. As volunteers prepped and stocked the kitchen, pancakes were poured, eggs were scrambled, and plates were prepped as we readied ourselves for our first sample of maple syrup, provided by the Journey's End Farm.
Nothing like a great pancake. Nothing like a good pancake.
Sterling Township has a rich history of maple syrup production dating back to the early 1800s, with many of the sugar houses still in operation today. And after a great morning snack, we head out to our first sugar shack. The Altamaya Sugar Shack is just one example of how maple syrup production in Wayne County is thriving. With hundreds of trees available, gathering sap might seem like a daunting task. Here we see trees tapped with vacuum hoses that interconnect and all run back to a central location for sap collection. This structure houses everything needed for maple syrup production. Sap is run through these systems to evaporate the water, boosting its sugar content. This liquid is then boiled down to produce the syrup we see on the shelves in our local stores and markets today. Learning about this process is a journey back in time as we get to see many of the tools used to develop the art of maple syrup production. Our next stop, Journey's End Farm, where we hear firsthand what it takes to create a great maple syrup.
I think most maple syrup producers will tell you that they make the best syrup, but I think we actually do make the best syrup. We've been making maple syrup since 1934 in our family. We are currently tapping we have about 1,400 taps on our maple trees, and that should give us about 300 gallons of syrup if everything works right, but per season. And it's all wood fired. This is our firewood. Cut it all ourselves. Most of our syrup is sold right here from the farm. There are 8 of us here on the farm working on this, and we have a bunch of animals. We grow vegetables in the summer, and we run a children's camp on the farm, and that's plenty to keep us all busy.
Here we learn about both types of sap collection, bucket and vacuum hose, as well as get an in-depth tour of this production facility. We are shown the evaporator and hear about their process of creating amazing maple products. We learn everything from collection to production, like harvest times, the best temperature for boiling, and the time it takes to process thousands of gallons of sap into a few hundred bottles. This tour was extremely educational as we see a product rendered from start to finish and learn the facts about where this food actually comes from. Not much has changed in the production of maple syrup, but what we see here is a refined technique that truly works to create an amazing product. And from the 1900s to now, the evolution of this process has sustained this Wayne County business as they produce some of the finest maple syrup products in the region. Everything from maple syrup, candies, and maple cream to your traditional bottled maple syrup. Product samples were available, and many treats were on hand for guests to enjoy. Next on our self-guided maple syrup tour, Szymanski's Sugar House and Gift Shop. At this location, we see a host of maple syrup products and learn about the high-tech use of reverse osmosis to render the sap into syrup.
I've been producing maple syrup since I was 16, and I'm 43 now. 5,000 trees we have tapped. In a good day, typically we'll process somewhere in the neighborhood of 7,000 gallons of sap, And in a good year, we may make upwards of 1,500 gallons of syrup. We make a wide variety of products. We make the molded sugar candies. We make granulated sugar. We make maple cream. We have maple barbecue sauce, maple mustard, maple popcorn, maple salad dressings. Really more than we can mention. We have a small gift shop here at our sugar house. We tell everybody if we're home or open. Maple syrup is definitely a growing industry. I would say it's probably one of the more profitable agricultural ventures. Maple syrup is a sweetener, and as you know, just about everything has some source of a sweetener in it, the foods that we eat, and it's a much healthier alternative than the corn syrup sweeteners that we're mostly used to.
And after those sweet facts, we head up to Maple Avenue and the Nebzadowski Sugar House.
I'm Tom Nebzadowski. Welcome to my sugar house. I've been making maple syrup since 2001. It's my labor of love. I have about 3,500 taps. I think tourism is wonderful. I mean, people come up here and see the line and stuff. It's all part of nature.
Not only does Tom have a great sugar house, but he's a collector of vintage farm and agricultural artifacts. Next on the tour, we check out Morning Sun Farm. Here we learn more about the tree sap's water to sugar ratio. Their main products are maple syrup and maple sugar. This smaller scale facility produces some excellent maple syrup items. Not only do we get to sample their syrup and maple products, we learn to make a sweet treat, sugar on snow. We take a quick break to enjoy our sugar on snow, then head up to our final stop, Augusta Acres. Augusta Acres in Beach Lake is owned and operated by Todd and Susan Klickus. Not only do they produce maple syrup, but they offer honey, vegetables, and a summer flower garden. On this site, we get to see everything we've learned today in operation. The tap lines collect the sap from thousands of trees and send it down to the vacuum house. From the vacuum house, it's pumped up to storage barrels outside the sugar house. Here, they take syrup production to the next level using pressurized vacuum lines, reverse osmosis, and a completely automated evaporator.
Because I'm going to start it, we'll get it boiling, and usually because after the syrup pan, because it was sat from when I boiled the other night, it doesn't take long for syrup to start flowing.
Proprietor Todd Klickus built his system to maximize his production and minimize the amount of time needed to convert their sap into syrup. In this stage of production, from the moment he lights the fire until we see syrup from the tap, is about 10 to 15 minutes. And his totally automated system is truly amazing.
I got my 50 gallons of sap that I'm boiling today. Sap flows into the steam hood, and inside the steam hood I have a preheater. So when this is steaming, the steam will preheat the sap. So if the sap's coming in at 32 degrees, 34 degrees, it preheats it to about 140 degrees before it goes into this pan. The sap comes out of the preheater into the float box. The float box regulates it inside the flue pan, the sap level. And then from the flue pan, it flows out into this float box, which controls the level inside the syrup pan.
We watch the syrup running through a series of channels and wait for it to reach its boiling point of 219.5 degrees. This temperature is 7 degrees above the boiling point of water, depending on the elevation and that day's weather conditions. Each step in their automated process turns nature's goodness into the product that we enjoy today. We truly enjoy this bird's eye view of maple syrup production at Augusta Farms. So, from the tree to the vacuum house to the lines inside this automated system, we see sap boiled and converted into syrup. And once it reaches 219.5 degrees, the automated valve opens and releases a rough final syrup. This syrup is tested for sugar concentration and taste, then finished and put in glass jars. Wow! So how's that for harvesting the sweetness of nature and creating a product that's not just good on pancakes? For more information on next year's Maple Tour, or to purchase some maple syrup products, check out WayneConservation.org, SchemanskyMaple.com, JourneysInFarm.org, or Facebook.com/Augusta Acres Farm.